time to tool. It's time to tool. It's time to now's the time.
Hey YouTube, Matt here, bringing you a profile from yesterday. This time we've got a second place just because it's Sam and I can do it elsewhere. So here's his profile and hopefully his matchups if he remembers them all.
So I decided to play Battlin boxers just because I thought I could do with playing something different, and I hadn't done it since basically their release date. My first matchups was against Dragon Rollers. As always, you can't really do much against them. My second matchup was against some kid who basically had his Marshmallons customised as Pikachus. There was two quite funny things that happened in there. I went into the Evil Swarm Ouroboros and he basically used Draining Shield, so the game went on for twice as long as it really should. And in the second game against him, he played the Seal of Orichalcos. He had his Marshmallon in attack mode, and then he normal summoned Injection Fairy Lily. so that when I would have to attack it, it would go to 3-9. I went and made Excalibur to poke it for 4,000.
No.
He was mad at the end of that. My third matchup was against... I remembered it on the way here. I can't remember it now. Okay, my fourth matchup was... I am really rubbish at doing these and actually remembering.
No.
This is why you have the notes.
Yeah, that's why I started writing notes.
Anyway, I made it to the top 8. I won both of them last 2 games. Actually, third game was against a ritual deck using using the Djinns to basically prevent anything from really happening.
Didn't you say he had Honest at some point and it got dropped?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I sided Enlightened Imprisoning River to stop the Menu of 10,000 Hands.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying stuff about white. That's one.
Fourth matchup, I honestly can't remember. First game of the final was against...
You mean top 8?
Top 8 rather. Was against Black Wings. That was a really tough, grindy game. First one, I lost it hands down because they went first turn. Is it basically their version of Harpy's Feather Dust? So if they have a Black Wing on the field, they can flip it and it basically destroys all set spell and traps.
Backlash?
No, I think it's like anti-reverse, Delta Crow anti-reverse or something like that. Yeah. So basically, I lost out on that game because I went -4 on the first turn. Second game of the finals were top 4 was against.
You're really bad at this.
Yes, I know. This is why I don't do them.
Second game of the top 8.
Second game of the top 8 was against Machina Gadgets. Basically, first game he didn't see a gear frame until really late in the game, so that whole thing was a grindy back row game because they probably run the same amount of traps as what I do in this.
It got to the point where I was seeing it where it was almost just who could top deck the most traps and Sam's going to win that game.
And in the finals against Fire Fists, you'll probably know what happens because this will go up after them probably.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, they should be already up, so I can link and shit.
Okay, so let's get to the deck profile. Just need to put these back in the places. So first of all, I play 3 switch hitters. They're the main card of the deck. When it's normal summoned, you get to special summon a Battlin boxer from the grave, and that means you can instantly go into a Lee Joke. Sadly, you can only go into a Lee Joke near enough. Then next are 3 Glass Jaws. If these are sent to the graveyard by a card effect, including their own card effect, I can bring a switch hitter back to hand or some other combo piece that I need to get set up for the next turns. And also if this is detached from a Lee Joke, I will also get a switch hitter or something back. Next I play 3 Headgeared, which are the defensive play of the deck. You normal summon it and you can send 1 Battlin boxer to graveyard from the deck, and if it's in a tap position once per turn it can't be destroyed by battle. So basically it can generally stay around on the field for a turn. Next, our Battlin Boxer's Sparrow. If you have a Battlin Boxer already on the field, you can special summon this and skip your next battle phase. But you can do this in main phase 2, and basically it has no cost attached to it for that turn. Next, I play 3 Counter Blow. So you can banish these from your hand or your graveyard to increase the attack of one Battlin Boxer by 1000. That's generally enough to get over pretty much everything in the game with a lead joke. Next, I play 3 Card Trooper, basically to try and turbo through into either the glass jaws or the counter blows, and also when it gets destroyed I get to draw a card. So that's it for the monsters, not that many of them. Then I have Dark Hole, Foolish, Rotor, all basically needed in this deck, triple MST, and 2 Warrior Returning Alive. I would normally use these to grab back a switch hitter to start off the combo again to go into another lead joke, or I may use it to bring a lead joke back to the extra deck so I can make the game go on for a little bit longer. That's all of the spells, not many of them either. Now we have traps. Compulse, Warning, Bottomless, TT. Basically just the singles are all needed still. Then I have 1 copy of Malevolent Catastrophe. Even though I'm running a lot of traps, I still want to keep this in, because pretty much every other deck has its own form of back row destruction. This doesn't. So like dragons have the wing beat of a giant dragon if they decide to use it. The Blackwings have their anti-reverse, and most of the other ones, if need be, they'd go for extra back row destruction. Next I have a single Black Horn of Heaven. Basically I had 1 space left in the deck and I went for something shiny that's useful. And this helped me out in the mirror match, which was game 4, which I now remember.
Haha.
Next is 2 D Prisons, 2 Mirror Force.
Wait, you had a mirror match?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was someone there other than you playing it.
It was Henry.
Alright.
Yeah. Then I play 3 Fiendish Chain. Lovelies. These are amazing. And finally 3 Threatening Roars, so I can protect my monsters and protect my glass jaw for a turn so it doesn't destroy itself.
Anything that you'd change in the main deck?
Not really. I would probably try and find a space for the 3rd Sparrow, so I can have XYZ plays outside of Lee Joke, because there's not really that many of them.
No, I didn't really see you going to much else.
So basically, there's a Lee Joke in here. This is... do they normally do their side deck or the extra deck next?
Doesn't really matter.
Okay. I have 1 Cowboy. Didn't go into it. 1 Dweller. Didn't go into it. 1 Maystroke. Acts the same as a Lee Joke, so I didn't go into it. 1 D'Augusto Emerald, basically against the Marshmallow Kid. The game went on for long enough that I had to recycle the lead blows back to the extra deck. So I only did that once. Lavo Chain, I probably could have gone into a bit more often to set up a switch hitter to the top of the deck, but I didn't really have the situation where I could make this and survive the turn. So I had to make either a lead joke or something more defensive. Papler Operative, didn't go into, still like it. Excalibur, as I said, I went into it the once to get over the Injection Fairy Lily. Blade Armor Ninja, again didn't go into it. Single copy of Utopia, I went into it once just because it was the better option at that point. 1 Pearl, 1 Ouroboros. I went into it again the once and it basically dragged the game on for longer than it really should. 1 Crazy Box, because it can't be a rank 4 extra deck without a Crazy Box. And also finally the 3 lead jokes. Boss of the deck. That's all I can basically say.
How often did you use all 3? I believe you used 3 in the final, didn't you? Or was that in the semi?
I think that was probably in the semi, because that was such a long game.
It just went on for a while.
Yeah. I think I used at least 2 in every game. So I probably went through probably 7 in a match or something like that. Because they do get prone to being compulsed, even though it's at 1 and everyone still sees it. So my side deck, I have 2 DD Crows, just because they're still good if there was any like Fire Kings or Wolfberg targets, because I did side this in for the final, just didn't see it. Sided this in against Dragons in the first one, didn't see it. Secondly, 2 Tragoredios. I decided if there was more OTK orientated decks, I probably would have sided these in, but they're still worth having them there to stop.
So what did you side in against Dragons? Did you side in the Trags against Dragons?
No, because I don't think Dragons OTK that often. They can, but people choose not to. This is what I also sided in against Dragons, and which won me game 2, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Because I basically banished their 2 Earths in the graveyard, so they couldn't resummon the Raydox next turn. And plus they can't banish from either player's graveyard, so that locks them down for the turns it stays on the field. Next I played 3 DD Warrior Ladies. This is basically to deal with rogue decks that would basically gets through Ophion without an issue.
Like you care.
I don't generally care, but it can still be an issue to get round.
Yeah.
And the same as in the mirror match, I sided in all 3 of these.
It's just good spot destruction, which doesn't target effectively.
Yeah, and it's like, these against a Legio, it wins. I then put the 2 light imprisoning mirrors, because I was probably expecting light swarms.
I wasn't playing Stella.
Yeah. And then I put in 2 shadow imprisoning mirrors, because I was half expecting more evil swarm players to be there.
We haven't seen them for ages.
Yeah, but still went against Blackwings, sided them in.
Mind you, technically Shane was playing Evil Swarm.
Yeah, but he was playing a really weird deck.
Yeah, Evil Swarm Ninjas. We both talked about it over Facebook.
And it's like, I saw it and thought, that actually would probably work really well.
It does.
But I didn't get the option to go against him or see him play. And finally, read for the cards. I decided that I wanted to try and mess up the life points in the final if I made it there.
You didn't draw it.
I drew it, I didn't get the opportunity to summon it though. So, I think that's everything.